Access is a large European-funded project trying to look at climate change in the Arctic and to assess the impacts on society. As part of this Access project, we are working in a work package looking at the climate change in the Arctic, and our contribution is especially to look at changes in sea ice and especially melt ponds on sea ice and their role in changing the melting of sea ice. Our first field activities in the Access project took place on a cruise in August-September this year with the Norwegian polar research vessel Lanse. Our aim was to look at distribution and physical properties of melt ponds on sea ice that's transported out of the Arctic Ocean in the East Greenland current. On this cruise we had two main aims. That was to first characterize melt ponds on sea ice. That is, we had ice stations where we actually went out on the ice, walked on the ice and measured the thickness of ice, the depth of the melt ponds, to get an idea of small-scale properties of these melt ponds. And secondly, we had an helicopter on board which was used to measure the ice thickness with an electromagnetic instrument, but also had a camera system where we can take photos of the ice cover along the flight path, which we can then use to understand the extent and distribution of these melt ponds. This year we found extremely little ice in the Fram Strait. Our experience in recent years in August-September in Fram Strait is that the ice has become thinner. It's mainly composed of first-year sea ice in comparison to earlier times, a decade ago, when we still had lots of thicker multi-year ice in the area. There's not much information on the distribution of melt ponds and comparisons between first-year ice, that is young ice, that we these days have more of in the Arctic than earlier. Earlier we had an ice pack that was composed of older and thicker ice, which had certainly melt ponds in the summer, but we believe that first-year ice, which is thinner, will also have melt ponds, but these might cover a larger area and thereby accelerate the melting of this younger sea ice in summer. Our aim is that next year we can follow up this work done in 2011 with a cruise north of Svalbard, and we hope that the earlier timing of that cruise will mean that we will be able to be in place when we have more open melt ponds and also do more detailed studies focusing on the energy balance of melt ponds.